AskReddit by got 1711. People that cheated in relationships. What do you think of the phrase, once a cheater always a cheater? I have cheated in the past. No excuse or justification for my actions. No matter what they did to me, cheating was so wrong for me to do. Ever since, I haven't really been pursuing long-term relationships. I have dated and slept around, but nothing serious. I don't trust myself to have the self-control to not do it again. I don't want to hurt anyone else. So, maybe that saying of once a cheater, always a cheater is true for me. I have a lot of soul searching to do. The self-awareness you have is the first step. It is possible for a human to change, especially if they have a reminder of how hurtful their behavior was. Unfortunately, regaining trust with the person you cheated on is a whole other issue entirely. You can't stop being a cheater, but you will remain one in their eyes. Even if they do their best to trust you again, a memory of what you did will always linger. Going through this right now, and I'm questioning everything and wondering how it could possibly work out if I'm always doubting him. The trust is gone and it really hurts. My friend had a years-long affair with a woman he eventually left his wife for. One day she called while I was doing laundry and asked what I was doing, and she immediately started crying at the answer. Pro tip: if you're going to use someone as an alibi, make sure you let them know. This breaks my heart. I've been that woman in my previous marriage. The horrible sinking feeling when you uncover the story is just hard to bear. I cheated once and only once. I was younger and immature. I should have ended the relationship sooner. I've been married 17 years now and there will be no cheating in the future. That was the situation I was in. I was miserable but holding on to sunk costs and too immature to just end it. I did break up with him the next day, but still one of the worst things I've done in my life. Deleted. At least dumping her must have been easier after all the mutual cheating. Had a GF cheat on me in college. We broke up. She changed. Got married, kids eventually. Her oldest didn't make it until 4 years before she was caught again. They divorced. She joined church and eventually remarried. Had more kids. Got caught again. Divorced again. She tried to slide into my DMs. That's a big nope. Sad, she probably joined the church looking for help, but the church usually makes things worse by piling on guilt and shame, instead of actually addressing the individual root cause. I got cheated on and decided to give her the chance. It turned into her accusing me of cheating every time she drank. Turns out, she was still cheating. My ex was similar, always thought I'm cheating for no reason. Turned out she was the ones doing it. Some people who accuse you of cheating because they do it or think about it and project it onto their partner. If I do it, everyone does. I take it that they always will be the person who cheated on you, so realistically it won't be possible to move on and pretend like nothing happened. It will always be there. It will poison everybody's life and you are better off ending it then and there. I don't think that every cheater is a serial cheater and just goes on to cheat on every partner for the rest of their life. Now there is still a strong correlation, but it's not a 100%. They will always be a cheater to you and for me. After a few months of trying again, that was no longer worth it. I cheated on one person 2 decades ago, and the guilt still affects me to this day. There are people to who this applies, but there are also many reasons that people cheat, and this phrase really doesn't cover all of them. A lot of cheaters cheat because they are selfish and would never put someone else's feelings before their own short-term pleasure. These are the always a cheater type of people. It's like that joke about you fuck one goat. Build underwater habitats for hamsters and you're forever known as the underwater hamster guy. Was cheated on. This actually came up as part of her defense. You knew my history. As if it was my fault for not seeing this coming. You made the choice to love someone despite knowing their flaws and hoping they had healed enough to not recommit their worst moments. It's not your fault that she continued the worst of herself with you. I'm sorry she used that against you. I think the meaning of that saying is something akin to once you've cheated, you can't unring that bell, and the relationship will be forever altered by the act, which I think largely holds true. However, if what you mean is cheaters always cheat again, I would say that they usually do. There are common exceptions though. 1. They were very young when they did it, and immediately felt awful. 2. They were in an incredibly toxic relationship that they didn't know how to end, and cheating was their out. 3. They got sober, or made other major life changes outside of just their romantic sexual behaviors. Occasionally someone will cheat on their partner, get caught, go to therapy and never do it again. That said, I've known people who claim this to be true for them, but still obviously cheat on their partner, they just think they are better at hiding it. I used to be a serial cheater. I chose relationships that were bad for me, or simply doomed from the start. And because I was a coward I didn't have the balls or the responsibility to break it up. Haven't cheated in over a decade. I started working on myself and my reasonings. Getting sober also helped a ton. So, for me, no. I decided I didn't want to do that anymore and made a conscious decision to figure out why I had done it in the first place. I am not with any of the guys I cheated on. Not all of them know I did, and I plan to keep it that way. If they ever flat out asked, I wouldn't lie, but I am not going to do even more damage now. Good for you. I hope that with further emotional work and the passage of time you also manage to conquer your weird capitalization problem. Based on some quick stats I googled, people that cheat once are more likely than average by around 3 times to cheat again. So you can trust someone who has cheated to not cheat again, but you probably shouldn't LMAO. I mean that's pretty obvious, no? Someone who is willing to cheat in the first place is probably more likely to cheat period, so more likely to repeat. But that's not the question. Can people change? Yes, absolutely. I don't think I'd ever stick in a relationship where I was cheated on. Been there, done that, didn't work because trust was too broken, but people do mature and grow. Deleted. Hard truth. Human relationships are unique, complicated situations. So you can't put a blanket statement on them. If someone quits a job, do you say they are a quitter and always will be? It depends. Some people are, some aren't. Nonsensical. You're basically implying people are unable to change, which we know is 100% wrong because people do change. A person at 20 isn't the same at 30, and at 50 the person is different from when they were 30. I think the phrase once a cheater always a cheater doesn't mean if they cheat once they will cheat again, but rather, once you're painted with that cheater brush it won't go away. It's a pain your partner will carry for the rest of their life. Even if it only happens once, they will always be a cheater in the eyes of their partner. I don't agree with this phrase unless it is someone you know well, and in every relationship they have proven this phrase to be accurate. My wife was in a horrible relationship for years, and once she eventually got fed up she cheated on the initial serial cheater. It was a one-time thing in a relationship that in my opinion deserved it. We have been together for almost 7 years now, and I have full trust it would never happen in our relationship, because it's not a horrible toxic relationship. I think for some people they are pushed to the brink and they act out. Personally I would never cheat, and I don't think she would under any other circumstance. Her previous relationship lasted 7 years and her partner cheated constantly, and she was too young, dumb, and insecure to just break it off. Being in your teens, 20s and in a relationship can be rough. I know them both very well and I don't fault. This post is going to have a ton of comments from regretful cheaters and one-time cheaters who actually matured. There is no way serial cheaters are gonna pop in here and be like, yup, I can't help myself. I heavily disapprove of anything related to the idea that people can't ever change. Someone makes one bad decision, and suddenly that defines them for the rest of their life? No matter how many good decisions they make? Yeah, that's gonna be a no from me. I don't think any of us are the same people we were 20 years ago. People change all the time. It's nonsensical to believe that infidelity would be the one exception to this. Also, when you look at the real life effects of this sentiment, it's really counterproductive. For one, there's no incentive for cheaters to stop cheating. If they'll be seen as a cheater anyway, why make an effort to change? Secondly, it also shifts the blame from the person who's cheating. If it's inevitable that someone who has cheated in the past will cheat again, then that would mean it's not their fault, because they can't control it. Basically, you're judging people for one mistake they made without taking anything else into account, and you're also providing serial cheaters with a convenient excuse to justify their actions. Yeah, when no one was looking I stole 500 from the bank. I would say I will do it again 100%. Monopoly. Hectometers. I don't know, it's not that people can't change and get to the point where they don't cheat again, but I feel like most people don't put in the work to actually do so. This is actually the answer. I took 4 years off of even talking to women to better myself. The second girl I met after my sabbatical cheated on her 5 years BF, and while discussing our infidelity on past partners I told her that I took that much time to better myself and change. She stayed silent. She would definitely have cheated on me had that relationship gone on any further. I don't agree with it at all. I made out with a random girl in the club and regretted it immensely. I ruined a 6-year relationship. But after a bit of soul searching and really pulling the situation apart, I realized I wasn't happy. I was in the relationship because I didn't know how to leave it. Many years later, I am married to a woman I could not imagine leaving, who challenges me and supports me. Sometimes it's a good bad solution for a bad situation. I definitely think at some point the stress of a failing relationship gets to be too much in your head that eventually your mind snaps and you just don't care anymore. Partner starts to argue about something you did or didn't do, and you just give the 1,000-yard stare. Cheating just snaps you out of the numbness and you realize you need to end the relationship now.